Shalom Yasharallah Shalom. Shalom. All praises, all power, all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakaha Kodash. Yahweh being the name of the Father, Yahweh, who the world ignorantly calls God, Yahweh, meaning He exists. Bahashem in the name, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, Yahweh Shai, meaning He delivers, He saves in the Paleo Hebrew. Bahashem in the name, Rakaha Kodash, Spirit Holy. Double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone who teach one and rule, who taught me this truth. Peace and salutation to the Akim, the fellow laborers, the hopeful elect, pushing this truth at risk of their own lives through the four corners of the earth. To the Akwat listening and learning in sincerity and in truth and in silence. Shalom. It's your brother Shema from the Pillars of Benjamin Camp here in Toronto with another lesson. And we'll get right into it. Yeah. These headlines, right, from Thursday, yesterday, October 6, 2022, the year of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahshai turning up, right? U.S. buying $290 million worth of anti-radiation drugs for use in nuclear emergency. Yeah, three different platforms are speaking on this. This one's from Zero Hedge News. This one from Blacklisted News. U.S. buying $290 million worth of anti-radiation drugs for use in nuclear emergency. And this one came out on MSN, MSN.com, right? These elites are moving, man, you know? And in the spirit, the first thing that comes to my mind in the spirit is false flags, man, right? These devils are moving. Right? It says here, the Biden administration is buying $290 million in anti-radiation drugs for use in nuclear emergencies and escalating tensions with Russia and heightened threats of nuclear war. HHS purchases, which is the Health and Human Services. HHS purchases drug for use in radiological, and nuclear emergencies. As part of long-standing ongoing efforts to be better prepared to save lives following radiological, and nuclear emergencies, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services is purchasing a supply of the drug Nplate from Amgen, or Amgen, Salaki if I'm mispronouncing it, USA Incorporated. Nplate, or Nplate, is approved to treat blood cell injuries that accompany acute radiation syndrome, right? And this is the guys, right? This is what these Babylonians are telling you. They're purchasing this drug for acute radiation syndrome in adult and pediatric patients, right? And I queued up Nplate, right? And this is news, you know, all different news media, online media platforms are speaking on this. Saline Post, Greek Reporter, The Hill, right? That America the Great, Babylon the Great, is purchasing upwards of $300 million worth of this drug. Nplate injection uses dosage side effects warnings, right? So this Nplate starts working from the first dose to increase platelet counts. Nplate works quickly to increase platelets. The median time to first platelet response was 2.1 weeks, according to the results of a single-arm open-label study conducted in 75 adults with immune thrombocytopenia. Right, and this is how these devils move. They conduct a diligent search. Nplate is a thrombopoietin receptor agonist indicated for the treatment of thrombocytopenia in adult patients with immune thrombocytopenia who had an insufficient response to corticosteroids immunoglobulins or spleentotomies. Salaki if I'm mispronouncing that. Nplate is indicated for the treatment of thrombocytopenia in pediatric patients 1 year of age and older. They use it in chemotherapy. Right? Let's see what low platelet count, symptoms and causes. We'll get back to this. We'll continue on in this article. ARS is also known as radiation sickness. Occurs when a person's entire body is exposed to a high dose of penetrating radiation, reaching internal organs in a matter of seconds. Symptoms of ARS Symptoms of ARS injuries include impaired blood clotting as a result of low platelet counts, which can lead to uncontrolled and life-threatening bleeding. Right, and low platelet counts. So this has to do with blood clotting, right? Thrombocytopenia is a condition in which you have low blood platelet counts. Platelets are calories, blood cells that help blood to clot, right? And we see the truthers, right, putting it out there that the Steph Curry fast break fourth quarter off the screen buzzer beater is linked to blood clotting, right? But regardless of the matter, these devils are moving, man, right? And they're making it known that they're purchasing these things to so-called protect their population, right? But we know how these devils move. Let's get Psalms 55. Is it Psalms 55? Psalms 55 verse 21. And it reads, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter. Whose mouth? Esau, Edom, these ruling class elites, right? These international bankers, they're puppet politicians. But war is in his heart, right? War is in his heart being mine, right? War on who? Jake, 2/3 of our people, Israelites as a whole, right? The mission of these ruling class elites, these diabolical madmen, international bankers, is to destroy Jacob as a whole, man, right? War was in his heart being mine. His words were softer than oil, yet were the drawn swords. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords, right? So they're going to tell you, you know what, we've just made a $300 million purchase to protect our people, right? To protect our country, our population, right? Drawn swords. They want to destroy you, Jake, out here, man. You know what I mean? Psalms 144, verse 7. And it reads, send thine hand from above. This is a prayer of King David. Send thine hand from above. Rid me and deliver me out of great waters, right? Great waters goes into Esau's military. Psalms 59 Psalms 59 says, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, right? Psalms 124 also speaks of great waters, right? and deliver me out of great waters, Esau's armies, Esau's militaries, from the hand of strange children, the hand of strange children, false gods, idols, right? This grain of rice, this Revelation 13 verse 16 on down, it's an idol, man. It's a false god, right? The beast, idol, false god, and they're going to make most of this world bow to the beast, bow to the image being the system, right? Bow to his device, his mark, his haragma. Verse 8, whose mouth speaketh vanity, right? You ruling class elites, you Job 9 and 24s, you Idumeans, your mouth speaketh vanity, right? Vanity meaning empty. And their right hand, their power is a right hand of falsehood, lies, deception, no truth. Right? And these elites are getting ready to they're getting ready to go big. This morning I got an alert. Right here. This came out this morning, October 7th, 2022. Zelensky calls for preemptive NATO strikes against Russia before Putin launches nukes. You see that? You see the narrative? They're getting ready. Right? And we know, according to scripture, the MOTB, right? The MOTB must be in place. Salakia. Let me just answer this. Salakia. We know, according to scripture, that the MOTB, the Revelation 13 verse 16 on down, will be in place before all hell, before full-blown nuclear war takes place. Right? We know this. Right? So we see Zelensky's narrative. Right? They're NATO and the EU's puppet. Right? We see what he's calling for. Right? So something big. These devils are moving because they know they have but a short time. They got to collapse this thing, this banking system as you know it, to bring in their CBDC, ultimately leading to the grain of rice. Right? Let's close. Revelation 8, verse 10. Revelation 8, verse 9. And it reads, this whole chapter is heavy. But I'm going to read from the ninth verse. From the ninth verse. The point being in verse 12. Revelation 8 verse 9. Matter of fact, let's read it from the top. We'll run through it quick, Lord willing. Revelation 8 verse 1. And when he had opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven about the space of a half hour. Right, and the seventh seal is ultimately the destruction. Right, we know the deliverance comes between the sixth trumpet and the seventh trumpet. Right, and I saw the seven angels which stood before the Most High, and to them were given seven trumpets. Right, Job 5 verse 19, I believe, roughly paraphrasing, says, "He shall deliver thee in six troubles, and seven shall not." Let me just get it. I don't want to butcher it. Job 5. That seventh trouble, also known as plagues, also known as trumpets, is the missiles, the nuclear destruction. Job 5, verse 19. Job 5 verse 19, and it reads, "He shall deliver thee in six troubles." That's six troubles. The sixth trouble is Jacob's trouble. All hell breaking loose. The famines, the pestilence, the Gurga troops, the FEMA camps. Yeah, in 7, there shall no evil touch thee. Right, that seventh trouble is the destruction, the nuclear missiles. Let's go back to Revelation 8, verse 3. And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer, And there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all saints. Right? This is the prayers of the saints who are Israelites, beginning with the elect. Right? The prayers go up before the Most High Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Right? Yahushai brings the prayers to his father Yahweh. Right? Upon the golden altar, which is before the throne. Verse 4. And the smoke of the incense which came with the prayers of the saints ascended up before the Most High out of the angel's hands. Right? And it's only the prayers of the elect the Most High going to be hearing in that day, man. Verse 5. And the angel took the censer and filled it with fire of the altar and cast it unto the earth. And there were voices and thunderings and lightnings and an earthquake. And the 7 angels which had the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound. Right? Preparing themselves to sound. The 7th trumpet being the destruction. Right? Right? These angels are getting prepared to sound these trumpets, man. Right? The 7th being the destruction. The first angel sounded. Verse 7. The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood. Right? And this is a vision of John. Remember, this is the John the Revelator having these visions. Right? The hail and fire mingled with blood is the missiles. Right? Mingle with blood, because when the missiles strike, there's bloodshed, man. And they were cast upon the earth. And the third part of trees, the Most High, there's 3 classes of men. There's the children of the wicked, which is Esau, Edom. There's the children of the heathen, Salakia, the children of men, which are the heathen nations. And there's the children of God, Yasharallah, which is Jacob. Right? The third part of trees was burnt up, right? Esau, Edom, America the Great, Babylon the Great. The third part being Esau. And all green grass was burnt up. Verse 7. And the second angel sounded, and as it were a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea. And the third part of the sea became blood, right? The mountain burning with fire is the missiles. Right? Third part of the sea. Esau, Edom, America the Great, Babylon the Great. Right? Jeremiah 51 verse 25 speaks about burning mountain. Let's get it real quick. Jeremiah 51 verse 25. And it reads, Behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain. Right? The Most High is against America the Great, Babylon the Great. Saith the Lord Yahweh, which destroyeth all the earth. And I will stretch out my hand upon thee, and roll thee down from the rocks, and will make thee a burning mountain. Right? America the Great, Babylon the Great is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear intercontinental ballistic missiles. Thus saith the scriptures. Revelation 8 verse 9, and it reads, And the third part of the creatures which were in the sea and had life died, and the third part of the ships were destroyed. Right? The ships is Esau's military. Remember, third part, Esau, Edom. Right? Ships being his military. Verse 10, And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven. This great star falling from heaven is a missiles, burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon the third part of the rivers, Esau, Edom, America the Great, Babylon the Great, and upon the fountains of waters. Right? They're waters. They're rivers. They're waters. Right? Verse 11, And the name of the star is called Wormwood. Right? This missile. We go into this word wormwood. Aspintheon. In the Greek. Aspintheon.
Strong's G 894. Obscentheon. Obscentheon.
Salak. Wormwood. The name of the star which fell into the waters and made them bitter. Right? As a type of bitterness. Right? And what's going to cause the waters to become bitter? Nuclear fallout. Contaminated waters. Right? We know that Chernobyl, as a matter of fact, let's just read it quick. Chernobyl waters. The Chernobyl water contamination. Chernobyl groundwater contamination. Let's read it quick. The Chernobyl disaster remains a major and most detrimental nuclear catastrophe which completely altered the radioactive background of the northern hemisphere, right? The northern hemisphere is the half of the earth that is north of the equator, right? It happened in April 1986 on the territory of the former Soviet Union, modern Ukraine. The catastrophe led to the increase of radiation in nearly 1 million times in some parts of Europe and North America compared to the pre-disaster state. Air, water, soils, vegetation, and animals were contaminated to a varying degree. Apart from the Ukraine and Belarus as the worst hit areas, adversely affected countries included Russia, Austria, Finland, and Sweden. The full impact on the aquatic systems, including primarily adjacent valleys of Pripyat River and Dnieper River, are still unexplored. Substantial groundwater contamination is one of the gravest environmental impacts caused by the Chernobyl disaster, right? Groundwater contamination, freshwater damage, right? Nuclear fallout, nuclear contamination, right? Revelation 8, verse 11, once again, and the name of the star is called Wormwood, the missiles, and the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter, right? The third part of the waters, Esau, Edom's waters, America the Great, Babylon the Great, their water was contaminated, right? This is a vision. This hasn't happened yet. It's a vision of John the Revelator. These are things that are going to happen leading up to the destruction. There's going to be a series of strikes, right? Leading up to the ultimate destruction. We don't know how it's going to play out, but the scripture tells us how it's going to play out. Verse 12. And the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars, right? The sun, the moon, and the stars goes into wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Esau's wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? What does this mean? They're not going to know what to do, right? They can't take their head out they can't take their neck out from what's to come, and they're going to be confounded. They're going to be stumped, right? A series of strikes will take place. Negotiations, you know how these ruling class elites roll. There's going to be negotiations and talks, but nothing's going to turn back Gog and Magog, man. So as the third part of them was darkened, and the day shone not for a third part of it, and the night likewise, right? The day, the sun, the moon, the stars was darkened over Esau, Edom's wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Right? Jeremiah 49 says, has wisdom vanished in Teman? Who's Teman? Teman is the wise of the house of Esau. Today's nuclear physicists, nuclear scientists. Jeremiah 49. Jeremiah 49 verse 7. Prophecy against Edom. Concerning Edom, you ruling class elites, you international bankers, Babylon the Great, the beast, NATO and the EU, the so-called white man. You're not white, you're red. Your blood shows through your skin. You're translucent, right? Concerning Edom, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman, right? The wise of the house of Esau, the Germans, they're nuclear physicists, they're scientists. Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Right? They ain't gonna know what to do in that day, man. Right? They're gonna be stumped. Verse 13. And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, 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 right? Woe means destruction, to the inhabitants of the earth, by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the three angels, which are yet to sound, right? So we know, leading up to the destruction, leading up to the ultimate destruction, the war in Armageddon, these things that we just read are going to take place. Right? Right, these devils are moving, man. Right? And the war talks and the pointing of fingers and the talking back and forth, right? Putin and his government saying America the Great, Babylon the Great is responsible for the Nord Stream, right? This guy here saying calling for preemptive strikes, right? America the Great, Babylon the Great buying upwards of $300 million worth of anti-radiation drugs for use, right? A lot's going on. Stay prayed up, right? Stay watching, man. Akyam, right? Wa Akwath, the few believing sisters. Stay prayed up, stay watching, man. Right? I pray you're edified. Adawan Rataza, Shalom to the hopeful elect.